Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We'll be starting off with the presentations. Darshan, you can share your screen.
Sure, thank you. Can you please enable?
I hope you have the permissions to share your screen.
No, actually, I don't have.
You don't? Okay, just a minute. What about now?
Done. Thank you.
Okay.
So, first of all, good evening, everyone. My name is Darshan Virwani, and I am from Cybersecurity Internship. Today, I will be presenting on physical security and internet security. Before starting a presentation of this thing, I might think you might be the people here in the meeting might be knowing about what is from physical security and internet security. You have overview of both the things, but we today we will be looking some more deep things. What is exactly physical security and internet security in today's world, and how it is helpful for us. So starting from our, and it is a tagline that protecting our assets in digital age. So we will be looking at importance of security in today's world. Second will be physical security. Third will be components of physical security. Fourth will be internet security. And after that, components regarding internet security. And at last, I will be showing like basic overview how a firewall works in the stimulation device. So starting from our first slide, importance of security in today's world. As we see, security is today's life is an important in every place to us, from our physical or online, everything. For example, we live in a, like home, we have our security guard. We every time we go out of our home, we lock our house and then leave. That we have that thing that our house is secure. So these things are very important. Like it is a important in today's world. So we'll be discussing important some of them. So first is protection against evolving threats. So first of all, I would like to tell you that what are the threats? Threats means some kind of harm thing or some kind of like viruses also, which are going to affect you, which will make a loss to your physical things or online things. So the world faces an ever evolving range of threats, like including cyber attacks, terrorism, natural disaster. Security measures for these threats are essential today. So our next importance is preservation of life and property. As I discussed before, we every day lock our homes, and when we go out, we lock our home to keep it safe. So preservation of life and property. For example, we have everyone majorly have today our health insurances to secure from any medicational purpose our life. These things have a great importance of security. So another importance is privacy and data protection. This plays a major role of today's world because data is the most important thing to us. Because if our data is not protected, we might lose billions or millions, or our the fame we have got it might got lost. For example, we are using WhatsApp, we are clicking photos, we are posting stories on Instagram, and somehow if our phone has been hacked and our private data has been leaked, so many of our private pictures, something might cause harm, which can cause a person to depression or many health issues. So the privacy and data protection is an important to this security world. So next thing is national security. As today we are discussing both physical security and internet security. So national security also includes what is national security is. National security is to protect a country, a sovereign from external or internal threats or cyber attacks. As our army personnel are protecting from a border area or cyber professionals are protecting us from cyber attacks. So this is a great important. So next is business continuity. So business continuity should be secured today for running a proper business. For just we take an e-commerce example today, which is like Flipkart.com. Many of us will be doing shopping from there. But what happens if suddenly one day the Flipkart has been hacked and it is being the data has been leaked all of the persons and the website has been defaced and cannot be accessible to anyone. So the business continuity should be done, should be is an important thing. So for that reason, we need physical security also and internet security also. So moving here, we discuss what are the importance. So here I start our major topic today, which is physical security. So what is physical security? Like physical security, as the word says, physical is related to something like life, which our assets, like our home, like our business place, like any desktop systems or our infrastructure, that thing need to be secured. What is the main objective of physical security? The main objective is to protect it from theft, like damage or any unauthorized access to our home or our business or anywhere secure places. So thanks. This is covers? It covers our assets. Assets is a very important part of our life. Our assets are like our as a personal, my asset will be my home. As a business person, his asset will be building, his data center, his equipment, his inventory, and his personal person going into the employees and all other things. So what are the components of physical security? We will see. The first component is access control system. We will be seeing all these things. Next is surveillance cameras, which will be very common today, alarms and intrusion detection, and secure facility design. So, starting from access control system. What are access control systems? Access control systems are that type of system which prevent unauthorized access to be done at our home or our business. So, what are their key points? First, access control systems are security measures that determine that who are allowed to a specific area or specific resource. So next, authorization. Access control systems verifies that this person is authorized or unauthorized according to their biometrics, their face recognition, their iris recognition, or some type of cards which are given their employers. So what we'll be seeing next will be types of access control systems. Access control systems majorly categorized into three main types. Physical access control. Physical access control is the very first part of access control system. Like for an example, if I am working at somewhere, so at the first, the security guard might have some meeting, some register, he might be knowing that I am the person who is working to this particular company. So this will be granting access the physical places like the buildings or particular room. So next is logical access control. This logical access control gives access to our digital resources, for example, our computer networks as database as a business purpose. And logical access control can be our email IDs and other all of the things. And third one, which is might be very common for us, which is biometric access control, which uses our unique physical or behavioral traits like fingerprints, retina for authentication. So these are our types of access control systems. Moving to our next component, surveillance cameras. These cameras, surveillance cameras, we might be many used to it, but we will see how many types of cameras are there. So first of all, see what does surveillance camera plays an important role. Surveillance cameras, also known as CCTV, closed circuit television cameras, which are devices used to capture audio and video of proper particular areas or activities. So next, what is the purpose? Purpose is majorly for the security, that any kind of unauthorized access there, any kind of theft or vandalism is there. Monitoring is there, observe the surveillance is done by the admin people or some kind of security personnel. Evidence if any kind of vandalism or unauthorized access has been seen. So the people will be providing evidence so that the legal process can be done in the future. So here we will see type of surveillance cameras. Fixed cameras, which are stationary cameras which focus on a specific area. Many of us seen this type of fixed cameras. And next are PTZ cameras, pan tilt zoom cameras, which can be remotely controlled to access their view. They can be also called as 360-degree rotating cameras because these cameras are that type of cameras which a person sitting in the security center can control from their side and can change the direction according to their need. And next are analog cameras. Analog cameras were used in the old time which transmit video in analog format. And next are IP cameras. IP cameras are none different than fixed cameras or PTZ cameras. Both these IP cameras are advanced version of that which transmit their videos over through internet protocols. For example, this particular cameras will be provided a particular IP address, like there are 32 cameras around an organization. They will be, every camera has a particular IP address and the security person will be monitoring through that IP address. If any of the IP address or internet system is down, the person will know that this particular IP address and this camera is showing down for now. And these cameras can also be accessed through mobile phones because these cameras are connected over internet, which can be monitored from any place and any time. So these were our surveillance cameras. Next, our component comes alarms and intrusion detection. So first of all, see what are the alarms and intrusion detection system, which are components of security measures which you detect unauthorized access or security breaches. We'll see some key points about that. Alarms and intrusion detection system are that type of technology that trigger alerts or alarms in response to unauthorized access or security activity. What does it mean to say that? Alarms are basic things which we might be knowing every that if we have seen fire alarm, we have seen smoke alarms. If some kind of fire is there, then an alarm is then triggered and the safety features which are configured that particular alarm that they have to sprinkle the water or something that we have seen. What is now intrusion detection system? Intrusion detection systems are that type of system that if there the people are monitoring, that people are monitoring incoming and outgoing, right? So if any person has been entered one time of like some kind of ID card and scan that, first person has gone. And if any other person tries to access that card and tries to enter that particular area, so intrusion will be detected. Now, this kind of unauthorized access will be alert. The alert will be sent to the security administrator. The action will be taken. So, what will be the purpose? The primary purpose is to alert individual authorities about security breaches for enable rapid response and intervention. So what will be seeing types of alarm systems and intrusion detection system. As I talked about in last example, detects unauthorized entry into building areas. Fire alarms. Fire alarms, we all know that if any kind of fire or smoke, it will trigger. Next is panic alarm. Panic alarm is like some kind of earthquake or related to that things are there, then this alarm will be triggered. And environmental alarms. As I talked, like if some gas factory is there and some gas is leaked or related thing that is happened. So this kind of alarm will be triggered. So next is perimeter intrusion detection. What does it mean? Perimeter means if our building is there are fences around our building, and with the fences, we have installed the perimeter intrusion detection. If a person that trying to tries to cut the fence and try to unauthorized access, the fence monitor will raise an alert to security personnel, and it will trigger that type of alarm, and the action will be taken for this kind of unauthorized access. So our next is secure facility design. This secure facility design plays an important role in physical security, where our data centers, where our servers, where networking rooms are designed in a particular business areas. So first of all, see what are some key points. Secure facility design refers to the planning, organization, constructing physical spaces with security in mind to deter threats and protect occupants and assets. So what are the primary goals of that? First, every goal of the particular security is to prevent unauthorized access, which secure facility design plays a great role in this. If suppose a company has one entry point and one exit point, if there is an unauthorized access from one particular entry point and that the intruder doesn't know about that thing, so the security personnel will be guarding both the entry points and exit points, and that particular unauthorized intruder will be caught there. Next, it mitigates threats. If that intruder has come to damage any of the building premises, something that will be mitigated. That same thing applies there also to protect our assets, to safeguard our people, property, and information. For example, if an intruder has entered our building and the unauthorized access alarm has not been raised, but unauthorized the intruder tries to access to a data center room, and he gets access to inside also, but the at the data center particular room, that alarm has been raised and that room has been blocked. That so here the intruder will be caught in the data center room. So here our information will be saved. So next is ensure continuity. As I talked in our last example, the individual was caught in the data center room. So this will maintain the business operation going smoothly. It will not cause any error in them. So these was our primary goals of secure facility design. So moving to our next topic, that is internet security. So what does the internet security mean? As we all know, the internet security, the word which is very common today, internet and security. This will be there that there might be something that will be protecting the internet from, there will be securing the internet from some kind of threats, or that it will be protecting something happening bad on the internet. This is the common thing we know, but we will see what are the particular things are included in internet security. So what is the importance? Like safeguarding sensitive data from unauthorized access. Next is protecting our cyber attacks, malware, phishing, and hacking. Or we might be knowing what are the cyber attacks. Cyber attacks, for example, means if uh, company is running a website, like we talked about our first example, Flipkart. The Flipkart has been done a cyber attack. So the website will be down, the data will be leaked, all the things will be done. Malware is a kind of virus which is inserted into the person's system, and data can be leaked or can be encrypted. Phishing. Phishing is a very common term these days. Many of the phishing work. Phishing is a clone of something where a user enters their credential. And hacking. Hacking means to hack something from unauthorized access to get the data. Next, ensuring the Internet security ensures that the data should be confidential, integrity, and availability. What does the confidential mean? Confidential means that the data is confidential at a particular area. Integrity means that for example, the data should be accessed by this particular group of people only, and availability of information. As we talked the access, and here is the next, availability of information. What does it mean? Availability of information means that that particular data which is being secured, this should be available all the time when the user needs access. So next, we will see common threads. What are the common threads here? First, I will talk what are threads. Threads, as we talked before, that this kind of something which are need to harm us, harm our physical thing or our internet thing, like malware, phishing, hacking, data breaches. What does it data breaches mean? Data breaches means that if a system, if a company is running and there is a data center between them, and if any unauthorized person gain access and leak that confidential data, which might have a loss to that particular system, that company, this is called a data breach. Next is DDoS attack. What is DDoS attack? DDoS means distributor denial of service attacks. For example, when sometime before, like 1 to 2 years back, when there was a, like, mobile phones were launching and sale will be there. So when we try to access the Flipkart or Amazon, it might be uh, I mean so much time of taking the load, or it might not load only. So the service is being this type of many request is going to that particular web server that it cannot handle. But there was a legit traffic. But if for hacker needs to slow down the company's website from being accessed, what the hacker will be do? It will send the multiple packets which will be shown as a legit traffic to the server, and the website will be not accessible. This is called DDoS attack. So next, our components of internet security. First is firewalls, intrusion detection system, encryption, and secure protocols. So starting from a firewalls. What are the firewalls? Firewalls are like perimeter. Firewalls are like surveillance cameras. Surveillance cameras monitors all the thing in the physical way. Firewalls same thing do in the internet security purpose. What does it do? Internet security in that firewalls monitors all the incoming and outgoing traffic of the internet network. So what is the purpose? To control incoming and outgoing traffic, prevent unauthorized access, and here we see types of firewalls. So first is hardware firewall. Hardware, as it works as a hardware, there might be some kind of hardware device which will be placed at the networking center of that particular business area, and it will be configured. Next is software firewall. Software firewalls, all of many of us users are desktop users are might be Windows, Mac. There is an integrated inbuilt firewall is there in our system, which might be we have noticed sometime or might not. That was software firewalls. And next is cloud-based firewalls. Cloud-based firewall, what does it do? If, for example, I am a business and I have my website hosted on a particular cloud server, so I will configure a firewall on particular that web server, that this particular thing should be accessed and this particular thing should not be accessed. So these things are called cloud-based firewalls. So these were the types of firewall. So next, our component is intrusion detection system. Intrusion detection systems are at both ways, at physical way and also internet security also. So what is being as the physical security, physical intrusion detection system do, but it protects from us from the internet. As for example, if a business is there and there are a network of 32 people around, So if an intruder try to access that particular business network, so there the intrusion detection system will detect that unauthorized access and will raise to the security. Here the cybersecurity personnel will be taking that kind of alert and will block that kind of unauthorized access into the business. What is the purpose? Detect and respond to security incidents and potential threats. This provides an additional layer of security alongside firewalls and other security measures. So next, what we will see how many types of secure intrusion detection system are there. So first is network-based intrusion detection system. What does it do? It it is bind our network. It monitors our network traffic. If any suspicious patterns are shown, then it will be raise an alert. Like for example, every day in a firm, there will be person will be accessing a particular kind of website. If any different kind of website is being accessed or something is going wrong, this intrusion system will raise an alert to the cybersecurity person, and that will be next steps will be taken there. So next is host-based IDS, HIDS. What does it mean? Host-based intrusion detection system. Host-based are particularly installed on every particular each individual devices to monitor local activities such as file changes or login attacks. For example, in my firm, I am running a desktop-based application software on which my all the process is going on. And on every system, that particular files are stored on the local computer. So if any person tries to delete that kind of file, so this intrusion will be raising an alert to take the primary steps against them. So what will be next for encryption? Encryption is a process to convert a normal kind of data to an unreadable data to protect it from unauthorized access from internet. This the encryption best example we see in our daily use kind of chat application, that is WhatsApp. Every time we chat with any another user, there we can see that this chat is protected from end-to-end encryption, which cannot be accessed by the WhatsApp also. So this is a true thing. In the next, I will show you which type of algorithms are used in encryption in that thing. So what is the purpose? The main purpose is the data confidentiality here. So making it indecipherable to unauthorized parties and protect sensitive information from data breaches and cyber attacks. So here we see what are the key concepts here in the encryption, which are used plain text. Plain text means original unencrypted data. Next is ciphertext. What does it mean? Ciphertext, which is converted from normal data, that is called encrypted data, is called ciphertext. Next is encryption key. That is, encryption key is a particular kind of key which is used to decrypt that particular ciphertext. And next is symmetric encryption. What does it mean? That it uses a single key for encryption and decryption. For example, if I am a user A and another user is B, so we both will be having a single kind of key for the fourth. I will be encrypting the data and the next user will be decrypted that type of data. So next is asymmetric encryption. Asymmetric encryption, what does it mean? If, for example, I told the A and user B have both similar kind of keys, but in asymmetric encryption, both the user have different kind of keys. If I'm doing the encryption with a kind of public key, that the another user will be decrypting from the private key. So next we will see the types of common encryption algorithms. First is AES Advanced Encryption Standard, RSA Reverse Semi-Element, and next is Elliptic Curve Cryptography. So, as I told the WhatsApp that we see that is showing end-to-end encryption. So it is working on the AES Advanced Encryption Standard name Protocol 256. If any person tries to decrypt that kind of AES 256 data, it might take millions of years because it is not possible to decrypt our WhatsApp data at this speed time period. So next, our component is secure protocols. What does this secure protocols mean? Secure protocols are a set of rules and conventions that govern the secure exchange data between a network. Like for example, if we are going to exam, that we know that we have to follow some certain kind of rule, that we have to take blue color pen and we have to write from that pen only. We are not used to allow black pen or something else color pen. So secure protocols also say follow same kind of rule here. These are set of rules that this particular network will transmit the data in this particular kind of type only. So what is the purpose? Ensure that the transmission over the network is protected from eavesdropping, tampering, and unauthorized access. What does the eavesdropping mean? Eavesdropping means that if suppose, for example, if I am a firm and I am running my whole of the network over the wireless Wi-Fi internet connection. So some kind of hacker, what will do? Hacker will be creating a fake name of my Wi-Fi point, and he or she will be, the hacker will be taking down the original Wi-Fi, and it will be showing the fake access point, so that the particular person connect to that Wi-Fi and the hacker got access to a system. So next purpose is facilitate secure communication between the devices, server and the user. So we will see key secure protocols. Which are the kinds of protocols? HTTPS. This is the very common protocol which are using in our daily life. Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure. Secure means a website which is binded with a secure socket layer certificate, so that the data between the web server and browser are traveling there encrypted. So that kind of website, majorly 90% of websites we visit today, we can see a kind of lock or green color just starting from a URL there, where there is written HTTPS. So next is SSH. SSH is mainly used in the network center of a management, where if a person, network personnel, has to access, take access of any of the data center of something, so he will be using the command prompt where SSH protocol will be used, which will be giving the secure remote access management of their devices and servers. Next is VPN. Many of us will be using a VPN as a, like, for different kinds, that the website which are not accessible to us, so we can use that kind of website using a VPN. What does a VPN do? Virtual private network. It creates a private network for a particular user, so that the another person which are trying to gain unauthorized access, or for example, if I am on a railway station and I'm using the public Wi-Fi out there, and there might can be a hacker who also accessing that public Wi-Fi. So the hacker will try to get or gain an authorized access to a system. But here, if we use a VPN, virtual private network, so the VPN will be encrypting our web traffic, and it will be decrypted at the web server only. So what we are surfing or what we are doing, this will be not possible for the hacker to access it. So next is SFTP protocol. Secure File Transfer Protocol is used to transfer files over the internet through an FTP protocol or FTP file transfer softwares, which are used, like many of the web developers or software developers are using this kind of file transfer softwares, through which they have host, they have data center ID password, they are uploading their files from a local system to the server. So there is a protocol which will use SFTP. So here I will be showing first our demonstration that how a firewall works. So here I will be using the Cisco Packet Tracer, which is a simulation network creator for network personnel to see that how a network is configured or how a network is worked. So first of all, I will be taking some text end devices here. So end devices, I will be taking PC and a server. Here we will, I will be showing you the example of software-based firewall, and here I will be connect it through a switch will be work as an extension to all between all of these systems. So now I am connecting to an wire to all of the systems. So we have connected our system. So first of all, what I will be doing, I will be assigning IP address to a server. I will be assigning the common range for now 10.0.0.1 and subnet mask 255.0.0.0, and I will be turning on the DHCP. What does it DHCP mean? DHCP means Dynamic Host Control Protocol. What does it do? If suppose I have server like we are using now, and I have like 30 systems in my institution, so I don't need that I should give a particular IP address, go and give a particular IP address to every system. What I will do is I will be giving the range. So hereby I will be starting IP address will be 10.0.0.0. First is assigned to the server, and so starting from 10.0.0.2 will be assigned to the another system in our network. So I'll be showing you right now that we have turned our DHCP. We go to our first system and go to our desktop, and there is static. And I just click the option DHCP. So you will be requesting the IP address. So here you can see we have got the IP address 10.0.0.2. So next system, same thing I will be doing here. DHCP. I will be requesting IP address. The request successful. Now on the other system, DHCP. As you can see now, all our system has PN and IP address here. So first, what we are doing, we will be using to the Internet Control Message Protocol (ICMP), which is used to check that the another system is up or not. So I will be checking my server here, which IP address is I'll be using in command ping 10.0.0.1 as we assign the IP address to our server. So here you can see we are getting a reply from that thing, right? From our server. So as a IT administrator, I want to do that all of the institution systems will not get the ping to my server. So what I will do, I will head up to my server, go to my desktop. Here I have firewall. So I will be making rule that deny what the protocol ICMP remote IP. I will be using all of my IPs. So I will be 0.0.0.0 and remote wildcard mask. Wildcard mask is our subnet mask, which we used before 255.255.255. So our IP address we have given 0.0.0.0, which means that all of our systems and all of our subnet mask will be blocked from accessing that thing. We'll be adding that thing. We'll be saving this thing. Now I close my server and I try to access our server. So first of all, we'll see what is the IP address, which is using command IP configuration, IP config. So here you can see the IP address is 10.0.0.4. So I will be trying to ping our server, ping 10, our server IP address is 10.0.0.1. So here you can see this IP address is, we can ping now. So here I have not turned my firewall on yet. So just I turn my firewall on, you can see this rule will be applied and no one can be accessed to our server. Now moving to another system, pinging our server, ping 10.0.0.1. So here we will see the request time out. What does it mean? That this request is blocking this thing. Same way, the other kind of hardware firewalls have a very major security configuration policies which are very deep in that things. You can block different type of website, different types of ports in that. This wasn't just an overview of a firewall. How does it work? So here we will conclude and we come to our end of slide. So in today's world, as you can let's remember that security landscape is not static today. It's dynamic. Like every day we are using advanced security purpose, every advanced security devices we are using. But at the same time, the hackers are getting advanced day-to-day thing. So we need to stay ready, stay ahead of these kind of threats. We need to invest in these things. We should research on all these kind of stuff, and which is very important for safeguarding our future. So here was my resources. I used the intra-source block for this kind of security layers purpose, and images were used from Google and Extra. So if any of any questions, so you can send me hi on my email ID. This. So here I end my slide and thank you for being attention here.
Yeah, Darshan. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Again, Darshan, as always, a great presentation, thoroughly detailed. My domain is actually in data science, and I have tried to tinker around with the cybersecurity domain on my own. But I feel like every single time you show up and give your presentations, it's like I learn a lot more from you than I already know about the topics that you're presenting, and that is actually a really great thing about the way you deliver content.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I think, I do not have any other suggestions because you have always, paid attention to what has to be done. So I'll send you your scores, okay?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Then we have Merc. Merc, you can unmute.
Is am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Darshan, you can leave the meet if you want.
Okay,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
Merc,
so
you can start.
my name is Gonsalves, and I'm from the web developer group. And my task name is reading the HDFCBANK, the CSV file data, and then plotting a graph in Adalo using that data. And this is all in the stock market data web application project that I'm currently doing. So moving on to the agenda for today's meeting, we are starting off basically with the introduction, then going on to the features, then I'm basically going to explain charts and how it all works and how I've utilized it in this project. Then we move on to the project demo and then the challenges, and then finally we end with the conclusion. So starting off with the introduction, I'm just going to give you a brief introduction on what Adalo is, as we have already finished this before. So Adalo is basically just a no-code platform where you have a lot of dragging and dropping functionalities present, where you can just drag, drop any features or any components that are already pre-built. And this is really good for people who really don't know how to code or aren't very familiar with coding in basically full stack coding or anything. So if they're not really familiar with how to code, they can easily use Adalo and create very responsive and user-friendly websites. And then now after you create the website, again, you need to publish these websites. So Adalo will also allow you to publish on the phone or even on the desktop or wherever you need to. Adalo provides this feature, but although it's behind a paywall, so that you'll have to watch out. So moving on to the features of Adalo, not only of Adalo, but like Adalo and the website that I've currently made with Adalo, we have basically the pre-built components which you can just drag and drop, and you can customize certain aspects of those components, and then make it better, make it like look a bit better, have a different functionality or whatever is your preference. Can again, it has a very user-friendly interface, and it's basically at the start, if you just like watch a small tutorial or something, you can easily come to know what to do and like what are all the functionalities available, what are all the components available, what are the different marketplace the APIs available. These are all very easy to understand, and hence that's why it has a very user-friendly interface. And then part of this project will also be the historical stock data charts, which I'll have implemented, which will basically just show the historical data of using the CSV file that has been supplied to us. So it will use the data from the CSV file, and it will plot a chart for representing the historical data. And then finally, we again have a customizable portfolios, which is absolutely a must that is required for any of the stock trading websites, since you always have to manage a portfolio. So it has to be like responsive, it has to update also in the real time, it has to be it should be like very responsive and like useful to a user. So then moving on to the charts. So now, as we all know what charts are basically just a way to represent like any amount of data into like a graphical representation. That is like the charts, as you can see below. There are like there can be various types of charts, like a histogram, bar chart, pie chart, or even a line chart. And these are very effective and very efficient and very useful tools to like even represent. Suppose you have a large amount of data, no person's ever going to like sit there and like go through the data or like read through the whole document or whatever, like wherever the data is. So if you have a graphical representation, you can like easily view the whole data in like a certain in like a very short amount of time. You can easily understand whatever, like suppose if a stock is like going on the uptrend, or if it's going on the downtrend, or if it has like some growth perspective, there's a growth prospect or something. So that way, it's very easy to make observations using any of the charts available. So charts hence are always very effective in that way. And so we just take now the CSV data that we have, and then we basically use those now to plot basically all of the chart or any of the charts that we require, so that we can make some very good, very representable data. And this is also really now good for data visualization. So finally, let's just move on to the project demo. So starting off with, as I have already explained how Adalo works and what are all of its components previously, but I can just go through it once like for a quick recap. So it's like it has a lot of components which you can just basically drag, drop, or you can then edit them or do anything to your liking. And then here you have the branding, where you can basically change the color scheme of your website. Then these are the screens. These are some of the screens used in the previous project. And then these are the screens basically which the user will interact with, or they'll see, or whatever the screen that you want the user to see. Basically, these are what they'll see. Then we move on to the database, where we again have like the users portfolios, the stocks, and this is the HDFC. This is for the HDFC CSV file, where we have about 1.35 thousand records. So These are basically where we store, this databases are basically where we store all of the data, so we can manipulate any values that are required, and then we can again show it back to the users. So then we finally have the settings for the app, and then the publishing, analytics, and then finally the history version. So then moving on to moving on to the charts. Here we have the charts where we have like a line chart, which is basically using the data from the HDFC database. So from there, I basically just sorted it. This first chart is basically sorted uh, using the high values, like the high values of the stock. Then we just sorted it going from like low to high. And then on the x-axis we have the date, and then on the y-axis we have the high values. And then similarly for the second line chart, I've just done it the same way, but this time I'm just using the low values. And then again we have the date, and then we have the low values on this. So finally we have the screen that is this. We have the bar graph over here. So in this bar graph, basically, we basically use these graphs. Now we'll even use the bar graph where we have the open values on the y-axis, and we have the closed values on the x-axis. And then that's the end of all of the graphs. So finally, let me just show you a preview. Okay, so to show this, we get started, and then finally, now since I've just incorporated this project with my previous project, so I only have like the current data for the HDFC Bank. So HDFC Bank, like when you go to view the stock data, you'll get the high values, and then that will also get the low values. But then these values are like nearly similar, because if you like look at the database, the high values and the low values are like very similar with like very tiny changes in them. So like the high and like the low values over here. Sorry, like the high and the low values, they are like very similar, but then there are like very tiny changes. And then again, if you check the open and like the close values, will have like again very similar values which have like very tiny changes among them. So that's why these charts also, they look very similar to each other. So even this, and then we even have the bar graph again, which have like which look very similar to each other, because all of the values are the same. And then finally we just then that concludes the project demo. And then now some of the challenges that you'll normally face by working on these types of projects is Adalo has a very limited amount of like graphs, and it also limits your customization quite a bit. And then you also have like a limited free amount, like a free components that you can use. Like you don't have every single component at your disposal, and you can't really create your own components. You can't like create like unique components like that. You don't really have the freedom that you do normally when you like code your own website. Then again, there are like some performance issues which cause a bit of lag. Like even when I was loading the graph screen, it took a couple of seconds, and then it finally loaded. And then finally, again, it has a very less amount of freedom for creativity, as you normally have during when you're programming your own websites. So then, finally, moving on to the conclusion, Adalo is like extremely easy to understand. It's like very beginner friendly, and like very very useful for like new people who are just getting into like creation, or like they want to just create as a hobby, or they want to create websites, or there's a new entrepreneur or something, he wants to create his own but he's not very experienced. This is really good for stuff like that. And it has again very limited variety. And finally, it also has like a very limited chart customization. So you can't you're only limited to three charts in this. That is like the line, the pie, and like the bar graph. These are like all the charts that you're restricted to. There could be some more which you could use, but then they'll be behind a paywall. And then, which again comes down to, normally you'll have to pay to access a lot of these other features and like all of these other components to use. So then these are the references that I've used. So these are just the links for the Adalo tutorials and then the charts to get like a basic understanding of all the charts. And with that concludes it. Do you have any questions? Okay, no questions. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I don't
Okay.
think there are any questions. Merc, you have shown, what do you say, steady, progress in all of your presentations and your projects. The presentation template was also great. The content this time was also great. Even everything was delivered very well. What I'll do is that I'll send you your scores. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good job. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night. Kirti, you can unmute.
Am I audible and visible, sir?
Yeah, you are.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, my screen is visible.
Yeah, it is well.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to all. Welcome to my presentation. My name is Kirti. I'm from Cloud Computing Department, and my project name is Cloud-Based Investment Platform, building a scalable and infrastructure for stock market investing. And my task name is store and analyze stock market data on AWS S3 using cloud data analyze tools. So start with, these are the table of content. First is introduction. Second is overview of Amazon S3, demonstrations, and AWS data analysis tools, source of stock market data, benefits of cloud data analysis, data security and compliance, challenge, and last is conclusion. So introduction. The share market is a platform where buyer and seller come together to trade on publicly listed share during specific hours of the day. People often use the term share market and stock market interchangeable. However, the key difference between the two lie in the fact that while the former is used to trade only shares, the latter allow you to trade various financial securities such as bond, derivatives, and forex, etc. So, overview of S3. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service, and S3 is one of the first service that has been produced by AWS. AWS means Amazon Web Service, and S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. And S3 provide developer and IT team with secure, durable, highly and scalable object storage. And it is easy to use with a simple web service interface to store and retrieve any amount of data from anywhere on the web. And S3 is a safe place to store the files. It is object-based storage. That is, you can store the image, Word file, PDF file, etc, etc. And this file which are stored in S3 can be from 0 byte to 5 terabyte. It has unlimited storage, means that you can store the data as much you want. So move to our next slide. Concept of S3. These are the concept of S3: buckets, object, key, reason, data consistency, model. So bucket is a container used for storing the object, and every object is incorporated in a bucket. And object is are and the object are the entities which are stored in S3 bucket. An object consists of object data and metadata, where metadata is a set of name value pair that describe the data, and an object consists of same default metadata such as date, last modified, and standard HTTP hypertext mark language, and metadata such as content type. Custom metadata can also be specified at the time of storing on object. And key, a key is a unique identifier for an object, and every object in a bucket is associated with one key, and an object can be uniquely identified by using a combination of bucket name, the key, and optionally version ID. And a reason, you can choose a geographically region in which you want to store the bucket that you have created. And a reason is chosen in such a way that is optimize the latency, minimize cost, or address regulatory requirements. And object will be leave the region unless you explicitly transfer the object to another region. And data consistency model, Amazon S3 replicated the data to multiple servers to achieve high availability. So move to our next slide. Here are a little demonstration. So I will give a live demonstration. Firstly, we are logging into your AWS account. So my screen is visible. So firstly, we log in into our AWS management console. So this is console home and dashboard of AWS console. Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible. I wasn't audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're audible. You're audible.
sir. I think there are a network issue.
The console dashboard isn't loading.
Yes, sir.
See if there isn't a demonstration, I can't grade you.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
it's there.
sir,
Continue.
firstly, we log in into our AWS management console, and we can also search in the service and just click on the S3. After clicking, I'm landing in the S3 dashboard. Sir,
Yeah, I can
I'm
see
back
you're
to,
facing some sort of issues.
I'm back to yes. Sorry, sir.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
I'm back. Yes, sir. So firstly, we log in into our AWS management console and go to the service and search the S3. So just click on the S3. After that, we need to create bucket. Sorry, sir, I'm back to our PPT, and after that, I will give you demonstration.
Yeah, okay, continue.
So, AWS data analysis tools. These are the data analysis tools: Amazon Antenna, AWS Glue, Amazon Redshift, Amazon QuickSight. So, first is Amazon Antenna. Amazon Antenna is a service that enable data analytics to perform interactive query in the web-based cloud storage service. And Amazon S3, yani Amazon Simple Storage Service, Antenna is used for large scalable data sets. And second is AWS Glue. AWS Glue is a serverless data integration service that make it easy for analytics user to discover, prepare, move, and integrate data from multiple sources. And you can use it for analytics, machine learning, and application development. And third is Amazon Redshift. Amazon Redshift is a data warehouse, while Amazon S3 is object storage. While some business may use one over the other, the questions of um, many will choose to use both of them at once. And Amazon QuickSight. Amazon QuickSight pull and read data from many Amazon utilities, including Aurora, Antenna, Redshift, and S3 and Elasticsearch service. And it also integrated with the on-premises database, file uploaded, and API-based data source like Salesforce. So move to our next slide. Source of stock market data. These are the source of stock market data. So first is stock market research firms, news aggregates, stock exchange, public record, and expert opinion, broker, dedicate online service. So stock market research firms, there are various companies and software creators that work slowly to analyze and provide stock market data service in the form of graphs, chart, figures, and statistics. A financial and stock market data vendor often use this research firm as a source of stock market data. The information that a stock data provider can collect from stock market research firm is highly accurate, making the data compiled from stock market research firm incredible useful for stock market analytics. And second is news aggregation. When a news aggregator engine are employed for financial and stock market data collection, they consistently troll the internet for any news that relates to the trading of a particular assets or a range of assets. And this information is then verified and compliant stock market data set. And third is stock exchange. Stock exchange themselves publish the detail about the asset that are being traded on their platform constantly, and there you will find detailed analytics about a given trading period, including the latest price of an asset, the closing price, the number of trade, etc. And a stock exchange data set vendor compiles and category all of these information and shift to it should the user needs. And public record. Exchange often file public document that provide a crucial insight into trading activity. The best financial market data provider will consult this document when compiling their data sets. They often
Kirti,
contain, yes, sir.
excuse me, Kirti. Can you check if your demonstration is working? Because if your demonstration isn't working, and you're delivering all of your content through the presentation, I can't give you your grades, and then you'll have to do the entire thing again.
Okay, sir.
So even if you give so much, it will be all gone in waste.
So firstly, we log in into our AWS Management Console and go to the service, and we can also search in the search bar and just click on the S3. Search, search.
Yeah, Kirti.
Sir, can I left and rejoin meeting?
Yeah, you can do that.
Yes, sir.
Or if you're still facing issues, you'll have to just give it some other day.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So would you like to? Today is Friday, right? So you'll have to give it on Tuesday again from the start.
Okay, sir.
Okay. I'll just then stop with the recording. Just make sure that on Tuesday you're not facing any sort of technical issues like this, so that
Okay,
the control works. Okay.
okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir.
So I don't think we have any other presentations for today. So I'll stop with the recording. Thank you everyone for joining in.